Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Abraham Lincoln High School basketball camp. Today, I'm your speaker, Noah Sandbothe, and today I'm going to teach you 3 things before we get playing. That first thing will be how to shoot a basketball properly. Second will be how to dribble a basketball properly. And thirdly, I'll go over reasons why basketball is important to the community as a whole. So first, we'll start out by learning how to shoot. Most people, when they start shooting, will use 2 hands because they feel like they're not strong enough to shoot, so they'll just try to chuck it at the rim. But no, that's not really the most efficient way of doing that. The best way of shooting a ball is this hand will basically do nothing. So you put it on the side of the ball. It's just to hold your ball in place. And you'll do all the shooting with your right or left hand, depending on which hand you're dominant with. So another mistake that most people make is they'll try to put their whole hand on the ball so there's no space on the palm. But to get the best release and best backspin on the ball, you're going to want to put it more on your fingertips because then it will spin more when you shoot it. And then you just have to practice and practice to get it right. You can't just go into the gym one day thinking you're going to be an all-star at basketball. Second, I'm going to tell you how to dribble a basketball. A bunch of people that try to dribble a basketball when they first start will either slap the basketball or just try to hold on to it, and they'll just mess up. Another thing to do when you're dribbling a basketball is to make sure it's close to you and you're not dribbling up high. So if it hits the ground and comes back up, it's all the way up here. Your defender is going to steal the ball from you. You got to make sure you keep it low and tight, and you want to be in a better stance, like down a little bit, not straight up, because that is also an easy way for your defender to steal it. Now I'm going to talk in depth about how basketball is important to the community. Basketball is important to the community as a whole because it gives people an outlet to relieve stress, anger, any much of the sort. I know from my personal experience, some of my closest friends are my basketball teammates because they're always there for me and they always know how to cheer me up. Another thing that basketball is very good about doing is giving people who may not be able to afford college or have the correct grades to go to college, they have an outlet to get into college because basketball is very wide and millions of dollars given out every year for scholarships. It can also give kids in a bad situation an outlet to go instead of falling into drugs or gangs like Lebron James. LeBron James grew up very poor. His dad left him at a very young age, and instead of falling into drugs like he very easily could have, he decided to take all that outlet and anger to basketball. Another example would be Jimmy Butler. He's not as well known as LeBron James, but Jimmy Butler grew up without a dad too. His mom kicked him out at the age of 13, where he was then adopted by another family, and he practiced and practiced as much as he could so he could get to college. Even though he didn't make it to Division I right away, he went to JUCO, and then he went to Marquette, and now he's made a max deal with the Miami Heat. These are just some of the ways that basketball can help people. Thank you all for taking what I have said into your heads, and we can now play some basketball at the camp.